Welcome everyone to Your Our Unity, a show that wishes to spread a spirit of peace and love in the world, one conversation at a time.
None of that affects how you are going to change the world.
That's right.
No, it does not take one person to change the world, but it takes one person to believe in themselves.
Yes.
That they can make a difference.
I love
to
that.
Inspire others.
And that's why, for me, I try to make it my purpose now to try to help other people realize their self-worth, because it's so sad that so many of us, we get destroyed based off of what other people have to say.
Yeah.
I would say do it in your own way, make sure you're doing it on your own accord, and take a risk.
Go out there and live your life passionately. Believe in everything that you're doing and believe in the fact that you will accomplish every single goal. Welcome everyone to Your Our Unity, a show that wishes to spread a spirit of peace and love in the world, one conversation at a time. We want to encourage you to empower those people in your life, support them, encourage them, uplift them. If it is within your power, also provide them with the resources and tools that they need to succeed and to thrive in this world. I am your host, LeShawn Walker. I'd like to welcome you in. Please like, share, and follow. Let everyone know that we're on right now. Tag a friend. I hope you guys are having a wonderful day. Oh my God, happy March. What a difference a month makes, my friends. It is funky and foggy outside. I am actually quite shocked that I made it here on time. I couldn't see how do they say? I couldn't see my eyes before the trees. It is so foggy out. It is gloomy out. We just came out from a beautiful weekend on Sunday. The sun was out. It was 70 degrees. And now I feel like it's like, I don't know, we're back in the winter time in December or something. But I hope that you guys are nice and warm. I hope that you guys are being a little selfish, as we discussed last week, taking care of you, all the things that you need to do, and caring for yourself the way that only you can, not concerning yourself with others and their problems, but worrying about you first. I hope you took some time to do that, because I definitely did before I was out and about this past weekend. So please put in the chat what you did at the end of February. How did you start off in March? I believe we're going to be embarking on spring very soon. So how did you march into March? What were your thoughts? What were your hopes? What do you desire to accomplish this month? Tell me a little about what you have going on, because I'm going to share mine with you throughout the month. So get ready. But yeah, it was a beautiful end to February. We had February 29th this year, and that means we were in a leap year. I had a few people celebrating 4th and 5th birthdays, and it was amazing enjoying them, at this time. And also, the little activities that I had going on. February 29th, Thursday, I was at the young lady who is actually on the show, our guest today, Nijaah. I was at her event. I was at the end of it. I had to work, unfortunately, and I wanted to be part of the full experience. But unfortunately, I was only able to make the tail end. So before I go any further, I guess it's just time to get into unity in the community. And for unity in the community, I was able to attend the Leap Forward men's event, the tail end of it anyway. And the tail end of it was we were treated to a basketball game at Nassau Coliseum with the Long Island Nets. There you see Young Men Strong represented there, and it was amazing. This event was for the youth. Nijaah is going to get more into it, for our young men, empowering them, uplifting them, encouraging them, teaching them all that they need in order to be great young men in this world in the future. So I loved the energy. I love the people that were there. I love the mission that she is on. And more importantly, I love the fact that she was supported by so many in the community. It was really amazing. And I felt the energy of just her hard work and the success of that event. And then on Saturday, I had the opportunity in the rain because it was a full monsoon on Saturday. But I traveled with my queen, Celine, and her mom to the Nassau Region PTA meeting. Oh my God. This meeting was so inspiring. It was educational. It was everything that I needed to see. It was all about the kids. The PTA is the voice of the children. And that's what they spoke about. They had so many different districts honored and highlighted that day from different parts of New York. And they spoke about how important it is for us to support our children, how important it is for us to empower them. I learned so much about what these children are dealing with right now and the different things and the social issues that they're tackling. And honestly, I was quite shocked. My daughter hasn't been in school in the school system for quite some time, so I'm kind of lost on, how far things have progressed. These poor kids, they need mental health services. These poor kids need support. These poor kids need things that the money that our state and government is providing is not able to handle. So I am so energized that we all got together to galvanize, to figure out a way that we can support our kids at this detrimental time. It is so much that they're dealing with and they're up against, and it is up to and incumbent upon the adults in this world to make sure that they are providing them with what they need in order for them to live happy and whole and successful lives. So after that event, I then kind of crashed the next event that my queen Celine was invited to. This event was awesome. It was hosted by woman Michelle Salages, who invited Attorney General Letitia James to a roundtable on child online safety. So there were leaders in that room. They had Celine speak about what she's up against when she's in school and the different things that her generation is tackling at this moment. It was powerful. I loved being in that room, hearing everything that's going on in every district, whether you are, an underserved community or even, a community that's thriving. We're all dealing with some type of issues. Gambling is a huge thing right now with children, which is what I was most shocked about. I'm thinking gambling is going to the slot machines and maybe scratch offs and playing lotto, but it is so much more. These video games encourage these kids to gamble. These things are right in front of our eyes. And if we don't keep a keen eye on what our children are doing, we will totally miss the dangers that are lurking out there. Social media is hindering a lot of mental health in our children. And we need to get on top of that. There's legislation and bills that we're trying to pass right now that will ensure that our children are protected while they are online. So this weekend was full of empowering our youth, also empowering me, giving me the necessary information that I need to go out there to try to make these changes with you, the Your Our Unity community. So my week was filled with just wonderful information. It was filled with just me wanting to be more compassionate towards those that I don't necessarily see on a day-to-day basis, but understand they're all going through something. And they just need a little help, a little encouragement, a little support from me as well as from you. So we're going to talk about that today. This woman that I've known for quite some time, Nijaah Howard, is an empowering, powerful woman. She gives back not just to her community, but she gives back to those that are in need. And she does it just with just such heart, such care, such compassion, such love. So we're going to speak to her today about what it is and what it's like to empower the young men and the young women in her world. So the title of the show is Empowering Women Empowered Women Empower Women. And we're going to speak to Nijaah Howard, also known as the Single Moms Coach. She is an accomplished author with works including Raising John's Boy and contributions to anthologies such as Dare to Be Authentic and You Can Overcome Anything. Beyond her writing, Nijaah is a dynamic mental health practitioner, philanthropist, relational speaker, and empowerment coach. As a devoted mother, she is deeply committed to uplifting and supporting individuals in need. In 2012, Nijaah founded Young Men Strong Incorporated, a nonprofit membership organization aimed at connecting ethical professional men with young men growing up in fatherless households. Through this initiative, she strives to provide mentorship and guidance to empower young men and foster positive development. Additionally, Nijaah serves as the editor in chief of Thoughts Magazine, a platform dedicated to empowering, educating, and engaging boys and men of color. Through her multimedia company, Multimedia and Events Incorporated, she embodies her brand by offering services such as media production, consulting, and mentoring. Nijaah's mission is encapsulated in her belief that when we strengthen our boys and men, we stabilize our girls and women. Through her multifaceted efforts, she seeks to create positive change and promote equality and empowerment for all. Please help me welcome the beautiful Nijaah Howard. How are you, my friend?
Hello, 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 my beautiful sister friend. How are you? Thank
I'm
you so much for having me.
No problem, no problem. I wanted to kick Women's Month off, Women's History Month off with
Yes.
you because you are making history, my sister. You really, really are. And in addition, from you coming off this amazing high from your event that you had this past last week. So I wanted to talk about that as well and just all that you're doing within the community. So thank you so much for being here. I truly appreciate it.
Thank you, my sister. Let's jump in. Let's jump in and have a
Yes,
good
yes,
time.
indeed.
Let's
So you
empower our women. Let's empower our women.
Yes, indeed. Well, first, let's empower them with telling them about everything that you've been doing. Oh my God. I mentioned that I only was able to attend the tail end of your amazing event that you had at Nassau Coliseum in partnership, I believe, with the Long Island Nets. Am I correct?
You are absolutely correct.
So the name of the event was Leap Forward. Please, Bobby, I think we have a flyer. Please tell us what this event was about, who it was for, and obviously what even made you come up with this idea.
Sure, sure. Well, I do not take all the credit. I do have a partner, Mr. Kevin Coleman, who supports me in this initiative for the past 10 years. He is someone that's been rocking solid to make sure that we implement and provide the services and resources for young and adult men of color. So one of the unique things about Young Men Strong is that we are intentional about supporting young men who are as young as 10 to as old as 80. There is no age limit. And so we are about providing, financial literacy, making sure that our young and adult men, especially those who are grown up in single parent households, are provided the tools and resources they need to be self-sufficient in society and be able to provide for their families and be self-sufficient and being able to give back, and be the fruit of their families and leave a legacy. So, we're offering service to our young men. It was incredible. This partnership is something that is unique, and I'm looking to have it now, every year moving forward. It is something that was unbelievable, but the Philippians 4:13 says that, all things are possible with Jesus Christ who strengthens you. And so never in my mind did I doubt that this couldn't happen. And so we made it happen. And it was all about bringing beautiful men of color from all areas. We had Delaware, Pennsylvania, Maryland. We had people from all over the states coming in to be a part of this amazing, incredible event. We had hundreds of men coming out to provide mentorship for our younger men. So it
Wow.
was incredible.
I love that. We have a few pictures of the few young men that just were early when they got there. And you know what I love about you? And this is amazing. And people will see this as they follow you. I love seeing that you are the only woman that is in the midst of all of these men. I love seeing that every single time you have these events and they trust you, they believe in you, they
Yes.
want to support you, they see your vision and they want to be a part of it. And I love that. I love that. And that's what I saw when I met up with you guys on Thursday, is that the support was real and that I know that they want to see this just affect and impact everyone in every community. So I am so happy for you. I am so glad that you pulled off an amazing, successful event, especially on that level. You know what I mean? Nassau Coliseum is nothing to sneeze at, my friend. So I am quite impressed. So tell me a little about what you guys discussed at the event specifically. What did you share with the youth and that attended?
Yeah, so we had three major workshops. Our first one was financial literacy. We had an incredible workshop where we had, speakers, panelists coming from Ridgewood Savings Bank. We've had financial gurus like Caleb Lewis and Ashanti Felder from, in the insurance, national insurance. So we've had some incredible speakers. We had Jalen Goss, who came out and spoke to the young people all about credit repair, home ownership, what it is to open up a bank account, how to not just make money, but sustain your money, and how to invest it so that you can be able to leave a legacy for your children and your children's children. And so they were providing some real intricate details on how to. And that's one of the things about Young Men Strong, and what really separates us from a lot of different people, is that we focus on teaching the steps. Oftentimes we have these workshops and these programs, and they are well intentioned, but if we're not teaching them and actually holding their hands and saying, this is how you do it, this is how you get to this point, then it leaves our young and our adult men feeling like, can I do it? Can I do it by myself? And so they leave feeling empowered, but at the same time, after a week, they're like, I don't know if I could do it. So we want to leave them with a lasting sustainability of feeling like, I can do this, some steps to really walk away saying, if I follow this procedure, I will get to this point. And that's what we want to leave with our men. The second workshop that we provided was emotional and mental wellness. We had some incredible panelists there too. We had Dr. Naheed Khan from Nassau Community College. We had Don Sinkfield from the New Hope Mental Health Counseling Service Center. And we had a plethora of other professionals. And again, these were men and women who were on the panel talking to our young adults who were so engaged. They were as young as 10 years old, raising their hands, asking questions like, is sleep good for me? And questions like this are so important. It's so important because we have young boys who are feeling overwhelmed. And so with life, with school, with social media, taken such a toll on them that they don't know how to place their emotions. They don't know how to cope with depression or anxiety. And so having mentors on the panel saying, I'm meeting you where you are, and I'm providing you the tools and the skills to how to overcome this. And we're doing it on your age appropriate level to show you right in your home, this is what you can do. And these are the kind of conversations, the real conversations that we need to be able to implement into our young boys and our men so that collectively they can be able to empower one another. The third workshop that we had was recognizing our iconic Black veterans. because it was the last day of Black History Month, although we know Black History is 365.
It
Um,
is. Yes.
uh,
Thank you.
just keep it 100, right? That's how we do it. And so, because it was the final day of February 29th, it was leap year. We really want our young men to leap forward in their lives, right? Be able to, that's where the theme came from. It's really about leaping forward. This is a, the final workshop was really about recognizing those veterans who made such powerful and impactful contributions to our country. We would not be where we are today and the freedoms that we have if it were not for these people who laid their life down and fought for us to be able to have what we have and to make America really the great country that it is. And even though people say what they want to say, it is still a country that is rich in wealth that people still come to. And so we wanted to recognize, and I had an opportunity to recognize some incredible veterans from Post 5298, VFW Post in Queens, New York, along with so many others, some Marines and some Coast Guards and some Navy men and some Army men. It was incredible to be able to provide all of them just an honor of gratitude, to be able to humble ourselves and say, thank you for your service. We see you, we recognize you. And part of doing that was providing citations. We had the town of Hempstead Deputy Supervisor Dorothy Gooseby to join us. Her entire team came out and she provided such wonderful resources. Her organization, her office provides wonderful resources to veterans. And so I want, for anyone who's listening to me, please, I'm encouraging you, if you are in the Nassau County community, certainly reach out the town of Hempstead to Deputy Supervisor and reach out and get that support for housing, for medical, for healthcare, for employment. This is what we need to do, is we need to protect and provide resources for those who protected and provided resources for us.
Yes, no, you're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. And I'm glad that, the town was able to support you in that. And I know these were a lot of deserving people that received these awards for all of the great work that they've done within the community. So I love it. I'm always a huge supporter of everything that you do. And the fact that you were able to put it on this platform to, invite everyone within the neighboring communities, as well as, like you said, other states to come and to view, these workshops and speak to these different men who are accomplished in their own right and share their stories and their struggles, I think is so important right now. I in the beginning mentioned that this past weekend I was part of the PTA association meeting, and I'm going to tell you something. I was really shocked about some of the things that our young kids are up against right now. I mean, I understand when you're dealing with families who don't have enough or aren't financially stable, but to find out that our kids are dealing with anxiety and depression and sadness and coming into school and not wanting to live and suicidal thoughts, and it broke my heart. So to know that there's a platform like yours, Young Men Strong, that is helping these young men get these tools and these resources to cope is so important and necessary. And I just have to applaud you, and everyone, please get involved with this amazing organization. Nijaah Howard is doing amazing work right now. So I also know we were able and treated to a game after the event. So tell us a little bit how that partnership came about. How did you feel, at the culmination of this undertaking?
Yes. And we don't never have enough time, because I want to kind of go back just a little bit and just say that one of the unique parts about Young Men Strong too is that we really zero in on those young boys who are grown up in single parent households, right? Because I raised my son in a single parent household, and we have to provide resources and foundations where they feel like they are enough.
Yeah.
They feel like, even if a father is not in the home or if their mother is not in the home, they still can be whole and enough. And if they focus on and zero in on the parent that they do have and the village of support that is around them. And
Mm.
so Young Men Strong is really about providing that village of male support, that professional, ethical men to not only help empower our boys who are being raised in these households, but also empower their single mothers. It
Yeah.
is so important that our men are cultivated in such a way where they are providing empowerment and edification and love to women so women can begin to love and edify themselves. And when you do that, then they pour that into their sons. And the goal is that their sons will now grow up into men who feel empowered and edified and seen and valued. And so then at that point, they can move forward in being great husbands and great fathers. So we
Yes.
really want to provide that foundation. And that's what Young Men Strong does. Now, moving forward, I have to say the game was everything for me. Watching these young boys who are grown up in single parent households to really just take over that whole court, play balls. I even dunked some shots myself, some swish shots. Back in my college and high school days, I was a basketball girl too, so I had to get on that court and show them brothers how to do it.
Oh, I know that's right. You show up.
So the kid in me is still in me, and I love having a good time. So so it was just incredible watching all those young boys just be free and just be, no rhyme, no reason, no stress, no pressure. They were just out there having a good time and having fun. And I want to thank, also Public School 231, formerly 231, for coming out and really, really showcasing and bringing those young boys to have a great time and be a part of this amazing organization. And so, this is the kind of partnerships that we cultivate because it's about working together. Oftentimes, what makes this leap forward event so incredible, it's our inaugural event, but we're looking to do this annually. And the purpose for this is because we really want our young boys and men to feel like to be on one accord, right? So this is a hub, if you will, a once a year hub where organizations, agencies, rehabilitation centers, detention centers, schools, organizations, programs, lawyers, doctors, all men of color from all different walks of life are coming together under this one hub to really get this brotherhood and get this really wealthy information so that they're all on one accord in terms of being young men who are strong.
Yes, I love that. I love that. And I want to take you back then because I love your message. When we strengthen our boys and men, we stabilize our girls and women. And I know you just briefly touched upon that, but tell me exactly what does that really mean? And how do we do that as a whole?
Yeah, well, first of all, empowering women is crucial
Hmm.
for creating a more equal and just society. So when we empower women, women can change the world.
Yeah.
We bring new perspectives, we bring skills, we bring talent, we bring leadership, and all of that yields innovation, it yields prosperity, it yields progress. And
Mhm.
so and I'm a representation of that, just being the leader of an organization specifically for boys and men, and also the editor in chief of a magazine for men in our families and communities. And
Mhm.
so in order to really grow our families the way they need to be grown, we have to empower women.
Yes.
So when people say to me all the time, Nijaah, how is it that you are a woman, but you oversee a man's organization? And I say, well, I'm doing it for the women,
Yeah. Yeah. Yes.
right?
Yes.
So we have to empower our men so they can empower our women. And
Uh-huh.
so, and it goes both ways. And so, and as a woman who is very strong and self-sufficient, I still need a man. and I
Yeah.
still want a man. I don't ever want anyone to ever say or think that there's so many miscommunications in the world in regards to strong women. The misinformation that's being put out there is that if you're a strong woman, then you don't need a man. How
Right.
inappropriate is that?
Yeah.
That is poor information to be putting forth, because there are a lot of women like myself who are saying, yes, I can bring in my own dime. Yes, I can run a household. There's a many of things that I can do. Yes, I can change the world, but I still need you.
Yes. Yes.
And as I need you in my life, I want us to be a team. I don't want to be walking behind you. I don't want to walk in front of you. I want us to walk together.
Right.
That is the kind of image that we need to start showcasing for our young and adult men, so that they can begin to see that what their role and expectation is as fathers and as husbands. And
Right.
so part of when we strengthen our boys and men, we stabilize our girls and women, because when we strengthen our boys, when we strengthen our men to be not feeling intimidated by a strong woman, but to feel empowered, is so
Yes.
important. One of the things that Young Men Strong uses, one of the social philosophies that I use, excuse me, I use what they call a strength-based language approach when I
Hmm.
talk to people. That means that I'm helping people to internalize their own strength and their own value, their own power, to help them move forward and transfer into their lives, rather than focusing on what they don't have, but
Right.
rather what they have. And
Right.
so this is how we strengthen. If I can strengthen my boys and men to understand their own value, then the hope is that they will build a foundation around women and empowering them and teaching them of their value. And then that she will be able to pour that onto her son. And her
Yes.
son will be able to grow up feeling empowered. And so it's not so much, we have to get out of this mindset that, one of the things as a single mom's coach that I definitely help my men and my women to really, really transfer their mindset is, we have to get out of this mindset that, only a man can raise a man, or women cannot raise men. It's not about gender. It's
Right.
about what are you providing to have a strong cement foundation to make sure that your son and your daughters grow up to be self-sufficient, independent young boys and men of color.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. And I love that that's, basically what you're offering. And I want to ask you, in addition to that, empowering our women, teaching and guiding them how to be powerful, and how to cultivate this a community of the same type of powerful women. How are you doing that, knowing that you are the founder of Young Men Strong? How do you empower the women in your life, in your community?
Oh, wonderful question. Well, for one, I've been empowering women for a long time, for as long as I can remember. But I would say maybe the last almost 10 years, I have been a mentor to one of the most sweetest, kindest, beautiful, informative, intelligent young ladies I've ever known.
Mm,
And this little girl, young lady, is like my bonus daughter. She is someone that brings me pure joy. But my goal is to make sure that when any woman comes across my path, I provide them with the education, the tools, the practical skills that they need to become self-sufficient. And part of that is not just by talking about it, you have to show people. And so when people come into my personal platform and in my space, they're going to learn, because I am an educator. So my goal is to ensure that whether you are a male or female, you are going to get the information to make you a better individual
yes.
in society. So I would say that my first goal, first and foremost, is to make sure this young lady who's under my wing,
Mhm.
I want her to be able to capitalize in this country, the way she should. And then in addition to that, as the single moms coach,
Mhm.
I coach multiple single women who are raising sons on their own.
Mm,
To watch these women go from a place of feeling withdrawn, feeling like they're not enough,
mhm,
feeling like they don't have the answers because they're not men,
mhm.
feeling like they can't do it. My goal is to make sure we use that strength-based language approach along with a little bit of mental health support and some love and some God. And
Yeah.
man, bada bing, bada boom. After a while, these women are feeling like, hey, I could do this.
That's right. That's right. Bada bing, bada boom. I love it. I love it. Well, that's why you're here. Women's History Month. I feel that you represent that. You personify that. I think that you are a woman that's making huge strides for women in this world. How important is that for every single woman to contribute to that? Just empowering our people, our youth, our young men, our young women, even the ones that are our age and older. How important is it for us to do that?
Well, listen, first of all, um, we have to know our history. We have to know where we come from to know where we're going. I
Mhm.
I stand on the shoulders of beautiful women who have walked long before me, whether they were people that I know or don't know, people who are in my history books or people who are my neighbor. But I know when I met Gloria Steinem years ago, she's a woman of value. I met her about 20 years ago. Um,
Wow.
and then I'm looking at, yeah, it was incredible. And then also Shirley Chisholm being the first African American in Congress, and and to be serious about running for presidency, as a Black woman, we have to know where we come from, to know where we're going, because women. We improve healthcare systems. We improve economic outcomes.
Yeah.
We build better educational systems
Yeah.
for families. And so we create such a level of um, growth and progress and innovation in
Yeah.
all societies. And
Yeah.
so when you can provide resources for a girl, and for women, you're really putting an infrastructure in place to create change.
Yes.
And that's what we have to do. We have to be able to put women and girls, and let me be very transparent in saying again that when we strengthen our boys and men, we stabilize our girls and women. It's not one over the other. We
Right.
both need each other. So
Yes.
so we also need to be able to put young girls in front of um, chemistry and science and drones and AI and technology. We have to, because women make things happen.
Yes.
And so when we do that, not only are we building sustainability, but it's prosperous for everyone who's involved.
Yes. No, you're absolutely right, my friend. You're absolutely right. There's, so many strong and powerful women out there, but there are also those that doubt themselves, that have that fear, that, are unaware of that actual gift and power that they have inside. How would you, or how can women cultivate that confidence and assertiveness in their personal lives, their professional lives, so that they can be the catalyst to that growth, to that change that we need?
Well, I'll take it back into my personal story a little bit, and hoping that someone will be able to relate to it. I remember when my son's father made a decision to walk out of my son and I life. And when he made that decision, I had to make a decision too about where I wanted to go. And I knew that the pain that I was enduring, I had to turn that into a purpose.
Yeah.
And part of doing that is realizing, and I remember it like it was yesterday. And I said to myself, I remember I was reading a book and I wish I knew the title. It might be because there was so many books that I read at that time,
Uh-huh.
and one of them was "Feel the Fear and Do It Anyway." And I
Mm.
remember one of the quotes I saw that said, "Success is the greatest revenge."
Yes.
So if I could encourage any woman who is listening to this today, and if you really that angry, turn that frown upside down,
Uh-huh.
open up a book, go back to school, get a higher education and
Uh-huh.
go get your life. Go do what you need to do because it is that road that's going to make him feel sorry that he left you.
Yes. I love that. I love that you said, go get your life. Because that's what we have to do. We have to go and get our life. There is a reason, a purpose. There is something about every single last one of us that we're
Yes.
supposed to share with the world, that we're supposed to illuminate and radiate every single day, even through the darkness and the weight and the sadness and all of that. But get your life. Get your life. You heard it here first, folks. Nijaah Howard said it. Go get your life. Well, I have to ask you, and speaking of our men, how can men be encouraged to cultivate emotional intelligence and vulnerability? That is something that is so hard for them to do. They're taught not to feel, not to show emotion, to buck it up, to be men, to be strong. How are you, and through your workshops, your programs, actually teaching that to our men?
Wonderful, wonderful question. Well, every Tuesday night at Post 5298, we have what they call Circle of Brothers Support Group.
Mhm.
Young Men Strong provides this foundation for our young brothers. We have anywhere between 20 and 25 young and adult men who come together, and it's a safe space. And it is a safe space that is controlled. So we have myself as a clinician, and we have other clinicians who are there to really help facilitate some of the emotions that may arise. But we create a safe space where men can really say, "I'm hurting. I don't know. Could you teach me? Could you help me?" And we're talking from a space of men who are married, men who have, multiple children, men who are going through divorce, men who are raising children on their own, men who are, really trying to figure out, how to live after divorce. And we want to create that space where men can say, "I need help, help me." And so by really creating that space, giving them an opportunity to to just be. And sometimes it requires just being silent and giving them the time that they need to be able to collect their words and their thoughts and then be able to purge. And it takes time. To develop emotional intelligence is not something that happens overnight. It's something that's cultivated in you the moment you're born. And if you were not taught this in your uterus, then it takes work to start as an adult. But Young Men Strong creates that environment where we facilitate a safe space to say it's okay to cry. It's okay for our young and adult boys to tell each other, "I love you," and mean it genuinely and authentically. So many of our men have never had another man tell them that they love them because their fathers weren't in the home.
Yeah. Yeah.
So there's an exercise that I like to do where the brothers are sitting in a circle, and I tell all of them, "Tell us who you are. After you tell us who you are, I want you to tell the brother to your left that you love him and that he is enough." And when they do that, they hug. And man, to see how these brothers really shed the wall
Mm.
that was created by our system, by some sisters,
Yeah.
by mothers, by deadbeat fathers, these walls that were created are really a shield of protection from being hurt and harmed. And
Yeah.
so we create that space that says, you can pour that wall down. And so we, Young Men Strong, is like we have little chisels and we just chip at those brick walls until they come down. And then before you know it, you're looking at these beautiful brown men who are saying, I want to be a young man strong and I want to help the younger generation become young men strong.
I love that. I love that. And you have a range of ages that you are part of the workshop, correct?
Correct.
These men that came to you, they're not just, 16, 17, 18, 20-year olds. These are men well into their 50s and 60s that are saying that
70s,
they do
80s.
need, really?
Yes.
Wow.
My oldest is 80.
No way. Oh my God. Tell me, I know you can't share their business, but what are they getting out of what you guys are teaching and pouring into them? What is the weight that is being lifted off that you actually physically can see?
Yeah. A lot of it is one, just taking accountability for past behaviors that may not have been so appropriate.
Mm,
Uh,
mm.
that is so key. When I hear these men talk about their relationships in the past and their, former wives and relationships they had with their children, and how they are owning that they messed up.
Wow.
And and then once they realize, where they are, they have actually said, once they've gotten to that space of forgiving themselves, then they begin to say, how can I restore and repair that relationship with the person that I hurt in the past?
I
And I
love that.
think that is one of the biggest things for me that
Mhm.
really makes me feel good, because there's nothing like having authentic, genuine people who are vulnerable and saying, I messed up, I made a mistake, give me a second chance.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I love that. I love that. And making it all right. And they're not, necessarily, wimps or whatever they used to call them back in the day. You know what I mean? But they're I feel they're being stronger when they admit those things, when they own those things. So I think that's amazing. Oh my God, Nijaah. You are also the CEO. You have a multimedia company, and you're also the CEO of, is it Thoughts Magazine?
Yes.
Thoughts Magazine. Tell us a little about that, because I don't want any time to get away from us. Tell us a little about Thoughts Magazine, what's going on, how you even came up with that brilliant idea as well.
Well, let me tell you, that I take none of the credit fully. God is the one who really put the seed inside of me, and all I did was ask to be utilized, because I was a vessel. So what happened was, after, like I said, I raised my son as a single mom, and so here I am looking at my little brown boy, and I'm saying to myself, how do I help my son and other sons that look like him realize that they are enough, and realize that they matter, and that their stories are valuable and they are important? How can I do this? And after the murder of Trayvon Martin, that really was the straw that broke the camel's back for me. And I remember getting on my knees and praying about it. I had tears in my eyes on my pillow. And when I woke up the next morning, it was almost like I could touch Thoughts Magazine. The Lord had said to me, you need to create an Essence magazine for men.
Wow. Wow.
And I remember being a little bit defiant, and I said, but God, I am a mental health professional. I really don't know much about publishing or editing. And he said to me, but Nijaah, the Bible says that obedience is greater than sacrifice. And
Mm-hmm.
so I had to be obedient. And so every person that I reached out to on the computer
Right.
was exactly who I needed to bring the first issue to life. And that was 10 years ago. And we're still publishing strong. We're in 5 countries outside of the USA. We distribute on a regular basis quarterly.
Mm-hmm.
And it's all about recognizing our men of color who are really doing the work. And it's really about giving them the platform to tell their story and not have mainstream media depict it how they want to depict it, but really tell the story how it goes from the people from who's living it. And
Right.
so I sit down with some of the most amazing men right in our communities,
Mhm.
and abroad, who offer so much value. And so now I'm having conversations because I really want to get it into the prison system so that our men who are behind bars and our young men can read it and feel empowered.
Wow, I love that. That's a great idea too, actually. I think that to disseminate them in places like that where, these young men could see, that they could possibly aspire to be, and the thought that they can aspire to be one of those people that are gracing the pages is amazing. That is amazing. So, I know that you were empowered by someone. The power that you have within you came from somewhere. And I know that you've been inspired by Fannie Lou Hammer and Sojourner Truth and Gloria Steinem, who you met, which I didn't realize, and Angela Davis, to name just a few. But who empowered Nijaah Howard growing up, little Nijaah Howard, or even young adult Nijaah Howard? Who was that person or people who were pouring into you that support, that encouragement, providing the resources and the tools that you need to become the history making woman that you are today?
Yeah, super question. I had a plethora of people around me that really cultivated me into who I am. But I have to give, credit to my mother and my grandmother. I come from a real powerful line of women in my family who are just incredible. They
Mm,
really are incredible. But just to add even further to that, what made me a little unique is that I grew up with three dads.
mm,
And it's really incredible because, my mother was a single mom with my sister. My sister had her father.
mm,
But I came along when my mom said, "Oh, but my baby girl needs a sister." And so she started scouting, and she found this tall, handsome, beautiful black man who happens to be my daddy.
mm,
And when I came into the picture, it was so much unification because I grew up calling my sister's
mm,
dad, and then calling my father dad. But
mm,
things didn't work out with my dad either. But they were still very civil, very
mhm,
friendly, very cordial. There
mm,
was no arguing, there was no fussing, there was no fighting.
mm,
My mother had these two beautiful little girls, but there was a man in the wing that caught her eye and said, "I want to marry you." And
mm,
so my stepfather, my step up dad, and my mother have been joyfully married with God in their union for well over close to 40 years. Now,
mm,
but I was a little girl who grew up looking at three men who I called dad. I had
mm,
my sister's dad, I had my dad, and then I had my stepfather, my step up dad. And
mm,
these three men, they hugged my sister and I. They
mm,
loved us. They treated us with respect. They treated my mother with respect. They respected the marriage. I
mm.
remember I was about 10 years old when I remember seeing the three of them watching a football game together and drinking beer on a couch.
Wow. Wow.
And I don't know too many people that could share that story, but
Yeah.
having a strong mother like that, and then having three men who she had relationships with at one point, but
Yeah.
now they all are cordial together.
Yes.
I
Well,
grew up with that kind of love.
I
With
love
so
that.
I know how men love
Yeah.
women, and I know how women should love men.
Which is why you want to teach that to our young men. I love that. Well, I understand before we go, you wanted to read a poem.
You
Um,
did.
so, yes, I want us to get to that right now before the time escapes us. So, please
Yes.
share your poem.
Thank you so much. This poem I wrote, it was dedicated to my son. But it's really dedicated to young men who are growing up in single parent households, in particular women, because women who are raising sons really don't get the kind of love and respect that they deserve. And society constantly tells them that they're not enough. And I want the son and the mother to know you are enough. And so the title of the poem is called Whole Builds Whole. A single mother's message to her motherful son. Your daddy isn't here. I can only imagine. The void that you feel seems unbearable to fathom. For whatever the reason, the time or the season, remember the good, but dare not forget me, son. I am whole and I am here. Your feelings and responses are valid, but there's no need to fear. God upholds you with his righteous right hand so you can grow whole and feel in total demand. Life won't be easy for you and for me, but it doesn't have to be hard when you feel whole and complete. Society will call you a fatherless man. Just know you come from a whole egg that says, yes, I can. It's natural to miss him, and it's okay to feel sad. But I am your parents, and he is still your dad. Rear view mirrors are necessary when driving, but stay focused on what's present so that you always stay thriving. Don't look over or around me, searching for something that's not there. Putting your whole identity in the hands of absence is what leaves you empty and feeling despair. I don't have all the answers, and I'll never be a man, but I am a woman who stayed doing more than the best I can. Connecting you to positive men helps to improve your growth. The value they bring will solidify your worth. Society will convince you that most women coddle. I believe in standing tall and being your best role model. Society will tell you that to be a man, you need to be raised only by a man. But society fails to remind you that the birth of a man is created by a woman. It takes two. This is true. And if I can make you, I can break you. But because I love me, I choose to elevate you. Smashing different ladies doesn't make you a king. It's when you honor, love, and respect her and slide her finger inside a paid and full ring. I'm not all emotional and I'm not that easy. There's a bar you must reach, and that is the key. Never discredit, devalue, or disrespect. Your life is blessed and filled with joy. You will make an impact on another fatherless boy. When you do wrong or can't get it quite right, don't blame my presence or your dad's absence. Take responsibility for the choice you made and own the consequence. Your success is a reflection of the time I invested in you. Your failure is the choice you made, not focusing on your number one, your lack of two. Don't forget the one who stayed up late worrying about your welfare and woke up early to feed your belly. Don't forget the one who sustained a smile to mask the tears so you can smile and shed no tears. Don't forget the one who battled the negative voices in her head and heart so you can live in peace. Don't forget the one who stayed overlooking you while you slept to catch all your bad dreams. Don't forget the one who sacrificed spending quality time with you to work multiple jobs so you can overlook like the Joneses. Don't forget the one who washed your clothes and the dishes, cleaned the house, and made sure you got the best education out of the zones. Don't forget the one who taught you how to turn off programming but see world bigotry and hate. Don't forget the one who taught you how to love a strong woman and never run from debate. Don't forget the one who gave you confidence to feel like everyone's number one first round pick. Don't forget the one who held you down, made appointments, and took care of you when you were sick. Don't forget the one who said, I love you, even though you remind her of the man who used, bruised, and accused her. Don't forget the one who showed you how to love your exotic hair and skin and taught you how to love others because hate comes from within. Don't forget the ones that shared her secrets in moderation so you can feel safe and secure that she would hold yours in total confidence. Don't forget the one that got on the floor to play with you when she felt drained and exhausted. Don't forget the one that encouraged you when you needed to hear it the most. Don't forget the one that gave you tough love with a balance of the soft. Don't overlook the one hole you need to focus on to make you whole. Never underestimate the power of a woman, especially a strong single woman raising a man's soul.
I love it. Oh my God. Thank you so much. And we have to end on that, my friend. We're going to show your information. That is Nijaah Howard, her beautiful poem. The beautiful Nijaah Howard of Young Men Strong. Please follow her, look out for her. I appreciate you, my sister, for being here. We have to close it down right now. I can't even get to the Dare to Be You because you just blessed us with your poem and it was not needed. So go out there and do exactly what we're encouraging you to do. Empower someone in your life. Nijaah, thank you so much. I love you.
Love you too.
All right. I will see you guys next week on another episode of Your Our Unity. Please remember that peace and love is in the palm of our hands. Let's go out there, be some love, share some love, give some love. Please follow us on Instagram and Facebook. I love you. We'll see you next week. Thank you so much, Nijaah. I love you.